have you ever looked at a brand new building and just wondered, how? How does that go from just a drawing on a screen to that? Well, today, we're going to deconstruct one of the most critical and honestly most misunderstood parts of that whole process. It's called Stage 5. So, let's get into it.
I mean, on the surface, it sounds pretty simple, right? You've got the blueprints, you get the team, and boom, a building appears. But what really goes on in that phase? How do we get from precise lines on a computer to a physical place you can actually stand inside? That is the real question.
Well, that's where something called Stage 5 comes in. And honestly, the best way to think about it is just the making phase. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's when all the pieces of the puzzle, whether they're made in a factory or on site, are actually manufactured, brought together, and constructed. Okay, so what does making actually look like in practice? It's way more than just digging a foundation and putting up walls. It's this whole journey, really, that starts on the clean floor of a factory and ends with a finished building.
You can really break this whole stage down into 5 key steps. First, you've got the site takeover and production start. That's basically what it sounds like. The contractor gets the keys and things officially kick off. Then we move into manufacturing and logistics. This is where a ton of the real work happens now. After that, it's on-site assembly, where it all starts to look like a building. Then, and this one is so important, is systems commissioning. We'll get into it, but it's basically testing everything. And finally, you have practical completion, the big finish.
So let's dig into that first part, the modern build. It all starts when the contractor takes over the site, or maybe even the factory floor. And see, this is where things get really interesting today. A massive chunk of the work is now done off-site. We're talking about whole bathroom units or entire wall panels built in a factory. I mean, think about it. It's a controlled environment, no rain, no delays. It's a total game changer for quality. And then you have this incredible ballet of logistics, figuring out how to get these huge finished pieces to the job site at exactly the right moment.
And then it all comes together. This is the assembly and testing phase. All those factory-made parts arrive, and the on-site work gets going. This is all about coordination, making sure everything fits just right. There's non-stop quality control. And if a builder has a question, the team has to have an answer, like right then. But the most crucial part? Commissioning. This is where they test everything. Does the water run? Do the lights turn on? Does the heating work? Getting this right saves so many headaches later on.
So what's the whole point of Stage 5? It's pretty simple, really. The key outcome is a building that is 100% manufactured, totally constructed, and fully commissioned. It's been tested, it's ready to go, and it's prepared for handover to the client. That is the finish line.
Okay, here's a little detail that might seem small, but I think it's actually super interesting. The official name for Stage 5 actually changed not that long ago, and that tiny change tells a huge story about how the entire industry is shifting.
Check this out. The old name was just construction. And that made sense for the old way of doing things, right? The classic stick build, where every piece of lumber is cut right there on the muddy job site. But the new name? Manufacturing and construction. That little addition, manufacturing, is a huge deal. It's the industry officially saying, hey, a ton of this work now happens in a factory before it ever gets to the site. And it's because that new way is just better, it's more precise, often faster, and you get a higher quality result.
And you've got to understand, this is not just about changing a word on a document. It is a signal of a massive, fundamental shift in the very DNA of how we build. We're moving away from a traditional craft on a construction site and toward a high-tech industrial process. It's a really big deal.
All right, so we've covered what Stage 5 is, but sometimes the best way to understand something is to know what it isn't. So let's bust a couple of common myths right now.
Okay, mistake number 1. Thinking that Stage 5 is part of the design process. Nope, absolutely not.
Let's be super clear about this. The design is done. All of that creative work, all the technical drawings, that happened back in Stage 4, technical design. So when Stage 5 kicks off, the plans are locked. The mission is simple: build what's on the paper. No more designing, no making it up as you go. It's all about execution.
All right, common mistake number 2. Confusing the end of construction with move-in day. They are definitely not the same thing.
So Stage 5 officially ends when the contractor hands the keys over to the client, but that is not move-in day. It's like a car rolling off the assembly line. It's finished, but no one's driving it home yet. The actual in-use part of a building's life doesn't really start until a completely separate step, Stage 7. So Stage 5 is all about getting it ready for prime time.
Okay, so we've gone through a lot of detail.
But what if you had to boil it all down? What's the simple 30-second explanation for Stage 5? Well, lucky for us, the source material just nails it.
This is it. This quote says it all. Stage 5 is when the building's bits are being built and assembled. The drawings and designs should already be complete. Now the work is about making, building, assembling, testing, handing over. I mean, that's perfect, right? The design is locked, and now it is all about making it a reality.
And that really leaves us with a pretty cool question to chew on. This whole shift toward manufacturing isn't slowing down. If anything, it's speeding up. So as our factories get even smarter with more robotics and automation, what does the construction site of the future even look like? Is it just going to be a place where we click together giant high-tech Lego bricks? Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?